Hi, here we are again, and today we're going to be talking about how to cut linoleum and how to make a stamp, and we've got some samples right here. This was a sample made by a student. This is another one. This one's kind of inked up right now. I don't know how well you can see it. This one was also done by a student, not inked up yet. But basically, you're starting off with a 2 by 2 inch piece of linoleum. I call it lino also, but this particular type is also called safety cut. It's a real thick, soft, kind of like a little bit like an eraser. If you've ever seen those white erasers, it's kind of like that. It's real soft, and it's actually much easier to cut than linoleum, and I like using them. This one's already been cut on one side, so you can see that both sides can be used. If you make a big mistake on one side, flip it over and use the other side, but you only get one piece. They're kind of expensive, so you do have to be very careful with it. The tool that we're going to use is called a linoleum tool. It's got a round handle. It's very rounded on the end. It fits in the palm of your hand. Your fingers go, your first finger goes on top like this, your pointer. The blade itself is very sharp. It's razor sharp, so be very careful with it. It's got kind of a V shape in the bottom. If you hold it the right way, it's like the letter V pointing down. But it's very, very sharp, so you do have to be very careful with it. Your finger on top of the handle of the blade is what controls it, and having it in the palm of your hand keeps it secure. Now, when we are cutting linoleum, I'm going to turn my stamper in this direction. As I said, I've already got it drawn on, so I know what I'm going to be cutting. You don't have to draw ahead of time if you don't want to. I like to do that so I can see what I'm doing, but it's not necessary. But the thing you do need to know, that if you do draw ahead of time and you feel like you need to change it up a little bit as you go, it's okay. Nobody's going to be seeing this design after you print with it. This is just for your purposes, so if you need to add something or take something away before you cut, it's okay to do that. For example, if I want to eliminate this kind of squiggly line, I don't have to cut it if I don't want to. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of angle my linoleum or my safety cut. I'm going to put the blade in the palm of my hand with a handle in the palm of my hand, my finger on top of the handle, and the blade pointing down. Now, this is important because I always want to cut away from my body. With my other hand, I'm putting my fingers on the safety cut lino, and I'm not cutting straight down. I'm cutting at an angle so that I'm kind of gliding across the top of the lino like this. If it starts to slip a little bit, just stop, get control, and just continue on off. Now, it actually cuts a big chunk out like that. If I need to go to this end, I'm going to turn my lino 2 by 2 inch square around. I'm never going to turn my blade around and point it towards me. You can always turn the linoleum square around. Now, to make this little dotted line, I just kind of start on the edge and, oops, too close to the edge there. I broke a little piece off. And I just want to go like this. I'm going to go down and then lift up, down and then lift up. I kind of have to brush these away as I go. Down, lift up, down, lift up. Now I'm going to go back and flip it over again so I can pull this piece off. And so I've got kind of a dotted line going. This is kind of just a little meandering line. So I'm going to meander, and it may not go exactly where my pen went. Now if you noticed, I stopped to adjust the square because it kind of slipped, but I stopped cutting while I was adjusting. I'm going to turn it around again. I kind of have to brush the debris aside and go back to the other end where I was holding it so I can get a good cut there. I'm going to flip it around again. Now for the zigzag, I'm cutting in one direction. So I'm going to cut up like this and go on this side first, brush them off, and then I'm going to flip it so that I'm now cutting in the opposite direction like this. I'm still not cutting or turning the blade towards my body. I'm always pointing the blade away from me. So now I've got a zigzag, And I'm going to end with one more vertical line. I'm going to flip it and get this edge again. Now, as you can see, I've got this paper that I'm working on. I'm going to kind of brush it all off. I kind of gently tap it when I'm done. It leaves a little bit of dust, and I'm going to brush all of that off so that I have a nice clean print. This is one that's been inked up. It's got ink on it still, so you can see the design real well once it's been inked up. I'm going to do one stamp with it so you can see what it's going to look like. And I will use some pre-painted paper to do this. And I'm hoping I have this adjusted so that you can see it well. So I'm going to put my stamper that I just cut. Oops, that's the old one. Well, I'll go ahead and use this one. It works. I'm going to put the stamper that I just cut on the ink pad. I'm going to press with paper on top of the ink pad so I don't get ink all over my hands. The thing that's nice about these stampers is there's enough space that you can hold on to. And I have a vertical line cut, so I'm going to use that as my top. And I'm lining this up with the top edge and the side edge, and I'm pressing firmly. And then I lift up and there's a really nice print. Now, the reason why I like to use pre-painted paper, I painted this paper before using it and let it dry thoroughly, is that those colors really come through and there's a nice strong contrast between the dark black and the bright colors. Now this time I'm turning, and I'm going to actually turn it this way so that vertical cut is going in this direction, so that my design will go horizontal and then vertical. So you can see I've got a horizontal, a vertical and a horizontal, and then I'm going to end it up with another vertical. And there we have a nice clean design. Now I will continue this paper all the way across and all the way down, but there's a good start, and I think now you're ready to begin. Thank you so much, and we'll come back and see how to do another design with linoleum stamps in just a few minutes. Thank you.